Charge up. Either which way, you know how I was just grounding, and I'm not in my same environment I was in before, but gotta make a way. He always provides a way out. So find a way to charge up. I came across this video. It was only like a minute long, but this woman was talking about distractions from off your path, from off your purpose. And you know, I talk about numerous things, numerous situations that occur, and all of the spiritual warfare, psychological warfare, all to make sure that you don't have access to your own divinity, to your own steps, to everything that's supposed to get you from point A to point Z, so that you can't hear what you're supposed to hear. Because if you have eyes to see, then you shall see, and if you have ears to hear, then you shall hear. But nobody wants you to receive anything because they want to keep you locked down. And the insanity of the fact that you have so much freedom and you're not even entitled to it is just bewildering. I thought that perhaps if I was able to go home again, that things would be different. But it's not. It's like God wanted me to see. And when I tell you these things, I don't share these things in a sense of, oh, whoa, look at me, my life is so insane and so chaotic. I tell you this because I hope that on your path to the wilderness, that I can leave you a little bit of treats and tricks, or I don't say tricks, but a little bit of a cheat code. You know, like, I want to be able to assist you on your way, you know, because I look and I see that there's assistance, but it's hard to obtain it. And you really don't know, because you have to always consistently check the spirit of the nature of the individual. But I say this in a sense of not so much as giving you hard cold truth, but in the sense of making sure that you're not alone and there is a way out of the madness. And I know at times it can be difficult, especially when you're surrounded by individuals who are keen on trying to harm you or hinder you from you receiving anything. But I believe that strengthens your armor, and I believe that it continues to ignite you to the next level. Excuse me. And what do they say when I watch the videos? They're like, that's a message, that's a spiritual purpose. But I believe that that's probably what's happening. I don't want to say probably, I believe that is exactly what's happening. It's like the more you want, I didn't want to use the word want and desire, but it's a sense of you're entitled to your own inheritance. You're a child of the light. Like, life shouldn't be so chaotic and so horrible day in and day out. And I was laughing the other day because these classes, it's like, you know, you get into the end of the line when it starts to get even more intense. But I hope that it's, I don't want to say I hope, I know that it's worth it. I know that continuing to gain more knowledge, be a good person. And what I mean by being a good person is, you know, carrying the fruits of the spirit and making sure that you're making the right decisions. Some people out here toting Bibles and they're preaching to others, but they're not practicing that within. Their heart is cold as ice. You know, I got to witness so much stuff, and it's like so much calamity of individuals just going against each other, and you looking like we're supposed to be family. And it's like, I asked God the other day, I said, why would you place me back in these same environments? But in the same sense, I know that I'm like, why you keep testing me, G? But it's not so much as testing me, but in the sense of strengthening me and understanding that when I lead with love and kindness, that there's a reason behind that. When I lead in the need of forgiveness, that's better for me, and more so it is for them. I was talking to one of my siblings the other day, and it's funny how God will show you the issues. Like, he'll show you the setup before it occurs, and you go and you sit down and loving as kind as you are, but you know fool, you wise as a serpent and you gentle as a dove. But in the same sense, it hurts still. It does leave an effect on you, knowing that people are playing to your top, that they don't want to see you succeed in life, that because of the fact that they chose to sit at the end, they chose to stay on that ladder and decide that they don't want to go to the next level. They don't want to go to the next step. Therefore, that's good enough for them. So therefore, you need to sit with me and think that this is good enough for you. But you know what you hold within yourself, that is not good enough for you. You know what you hold within yourself, that you deserve and want and desire and obtain all these things that you want. You are entitled to these things because simply if you can see it, then why can't you become it? And sometimes it just it grinds my gears, because I'm like, how in the world you decide what is best for me? And then I got to look back at my grown, ripe age and think, dang, you were the culprit? Y'all were the culprit behind all of these things that happened? And then even with that amazing amount of knowledge, God is like, what you going to do with this? You like, and you looking at God, you're like, why in the world would you show me this continuously over and over? And he's like, I told you, but you didn't believe me. So now you got to go through it. And now that you didn't seen it, after I didn't told you about that, I put you on to what was happening. Then on top of that, you had to go through it. Then after you go through it, you're going to turn and look at me and be like, what is this? I already laid it out for you that this is what was happening. But in the same sense, it's like they say, a hard head makes a soft A, but I don't even think that's what it is. I think the soul, the body needs to remember the process. It's like you can go and get your body done, or you could take the time out to actually work out. And that's a long process, but you're going to appreciate the changes that are made. And nothing against anybody who got body work, but it's like, that you put time and dedication into that. So I think as much as as long as it takes, that eventually you will get to the end of that line. You will receive what it is that that you rightfully deserve, which is a coronation. I think back to my spiritual coronation. I didn't know what the heck was happening to me. I think back to the spiritual warfare and the attacks. And I'm so grateful that God gave me the eyes to see, to show me who was who, even in the spiritual realm. And it's so sad because they go so hard in this realm to make you believe that physicality is the only active ingredient of life. Oh, it's a white butterfly. But it's not. Like, it's not. It's so much more to all of this. And it's so unfortunate that we're not taught these things. I believe only certain individuals are taught these things because they're able to stay at a certain level. And they gatekeep when the majority of those individuals that are at that level stole that inheritance. They stole that spiritual inheritance. They snatched up those spiritual crowns. They came together, conjugated together to find a way to attack a divine being, a child of light, who came out here to do some really good works. And it is sad. It's really, it's horrible. I think back to when I was homeless and the conversations I would have with other homeless people, and even before they even tell you their story, you could see what's going on. It's like I even asked God, I'm like, why do I have to go through all this stuff? But it's like I had to see the greed in people. I had to see how people were just opportunists around me. And I say this not to be like, woe is me, but I say this to, even if you are in a similar position where you sitting around and you're looking and I look at it as when Jesus knew that old boy was not for him. I look at when he knew that he was going to do him dirty. He knew that it goes back to what I was just saying about how God will forewarn you and you'll see it. And he looks at him and knows that even though with that kiss, Judas was going to play him. But at the same time, even though he told the team, at the same time, he was still so just, I don't know. I just think God is dope. Just the way he holds it down. Like, he was so dope about it. like his essence, his energy, the way that he was able to control himself. And I think to be able to walk in this space, in this realm, and operate in a level where you want your success, you know, you deserve your success, you're entitled to your happiness, and this crazy pursuit of happiness, and how they make it such a horrible endeavor of you being able to receive these rewards when you already had your spiritual coronation. It's like somebody consistently telling you you're not royalty, you're not divine, you're not wealthy, you're not abundant, and I'm going to continuously show you and try to prove to you that you're not these things, when you totally, oh, look at all these white butterflies, when you totally are those things. It's insane. It's like, how dare you? How much time do I have? There goes those planes. They're like, no, no, no. Stop the madness. Yeah, but it's like, it's wrong. You know, so I think in the sense of being able to horn in your energy, horn in your emotions, horn and actually allow yourself to have an entitlement of peace. I was thinking the other night when I was trying to submit my homework for school, and I'm like, I gotta fight this energy, I gotta fight that energy, I gotta fight this energy, I got this one on top of me, I got this, and that. Then on top of that, I got these principalities. It's like, but you really don't have to fight any of that. You know, and I go back to what I said with God. It's like you sit centered in knowing that you have a throne, knowing that you are entitled, knowing that you are divinity, knowing that you are royalty, knowing that you are wealthy, knowing that you are divine, knowing that you are a child of light, and you horn that energy. You know that you're in control of what you are. So there's no need for you to pop off. There's no need for you to try to come out of characters. There's no need for you to go out your way to try to prove anything to anybody, because these are nothing but mere distractions. Because the more I take you off your path of you pursuing what you know that you are entitled to, you gaining your throne, the more you're not going to pay attention to what actually is what you need to be focusing on. Because you're so focusing on me coming up to you, attacking you, stalking you, harassing you, doing all these little things. And God will sit back and show you, like, look at this. Now they must fight amongst each other. Because what they thought that they can do did not work. It's insane. Then you hear people, and you already know certain people performing certain things on you. You performing a black art on me, then you hear them. And you're just like, and God's like, don't even feed into it. You get out there and you show love, because that is the highest form. And I keep telling you over and over and over and over and over again, that is the highest form. That is the highest level. That is the highest form of creation. That is the highest level. You cannot reach nothing higher than that. And to be able to embody that type of a divinity, to even be near that, to be the light that is so close to the darkness. And what I mean by the darkness, the void, the energy, the ether, the space that they can't tap into. And they keep telling you that they are tapping into it, but they can't, because it's benevolent. How can you find a way to get to God when you don't even respect God or even acknowledge God? How can you try to use his tools of trades and of forms of education and thinking that you're going to understand this book as many times as you read this book? You want something that is not giving to you. Your coronation may be physical because you therefore forced it or titled yourself or crowned yourself, but your coronation didn't come from God. It's crazy. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to say to you guys when I get on here, but I said, well, let me charge up. Let me do a little bit of ground. And I found some spot in the grass, because not in my other environment from before, where I can just walk out the door and there's just grass and sun. But I was like, let me go and trek it and try to find it. And then all I'm thinking is, I got to talk to you guys. I haven't talked to you forever. And at first I was like, I'm not going to even say anything anymore, because people have been swiping my stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? As long as this message gets out and it's a blast, but like it's blasted to other individuals and people are able to take it apart and use it for what they need to use it for and to help other people, then there's so far be it. Like, it is what it is at this point. But it sucks. It does suck. But I know it's worth it. It's worth it, you guys. It's worth it. It's so much stuff that have been uncovered for me. There's so many scales. Like, I've been even having a dream where God removed scales from my eyes, like physically. It's like you look back. I think about with Job, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, why would he take all away everything? When they say, oh, it was just a bet between God and the devil. But at the same time, I'm like, God knows everything, because God is who he is. God is omnipresent, omniscience, everything. God is it. So I'm like, I don't think it was just that. There I go burping again. Sorry, it's not ladylike. But I don't think it's just that, you know, like, because I was thinking about that. I was like, God, I was talking about it the other day. I was like, man, I don't understand. I say, because if you took away Job's riches, right, and Job had to be tested, right, and I just think that he had to be tested to get to that real level. Because think about it, Job crafted all these things. He was what's the word I'm looking for? He was very adamant, and he's very sturdy in his walk with God, right? He didn't play about God. But in the same sense, he had all of these riches. He had all of this, right? And then everything got snatched away, right? And I always think back when the wife had said to him, oh, just curse God and just be done with it. How his friends left him and said, you must have did something for this to be brought on to you. We don't want to have any parts with you, right? And I'm thinking, dang. First, I thought I was in my Jonah season because they told me I was running from what I was supposed to be doing, and God was after me. I was running from what God was telling me to do. I was like, I can't do that. I don't like talking in public. But in the same sense, and then I was like, oh snap, he done threw me into my Job season. Like, I don't even got 2 nickels to rub together. But in the same sense, you know, not right. And I'll eventually I get to where I need to be at. But I think it's a sense of when I look back into how I was before, and I was adamant about God. I always been present, adamant about, oh, the birds are playing. There's 2 little birds. They play fighting with each other. Oh, it's adorable. Okay, so they're walking and then like fighting, and then they get up and they fly, and then they fight again. Like, it's adorable. This is a cute little area. I didn't never even know was over here. And I grew up over here. But anywho, back to what I was saying. Okay, Marque, stay focused. All right. So when I think back to the Job season, right, and I think back to how it was beforehand when he had all these riches and everything, he was adamant about God. Him and God was G's. They were close. They were tight, right? And then so I think, okay, this is dope. This is cool. And then all of a sudden, everything is snatched away from him, right? And then they say, no, God and the devil had a joke, and they had their little bet and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. That's what wealthy, abundant individuals do, right? They're able to oversee things and see how it's going to play out, right? So I said, fine, that is what it is, right? But then I think about how Job took it, right? Job at first was like, what the heck is going on, right? From the skin issues, from his children passing on, from his wife telling him to curse God. When I think about a wife, not even just a wife, a spouse, right? I think that is a serious thing, right? That's a serious commitment. Even if you guys are not married, right? But that's the person that you choose to do your life with. That is serious. Because not only are y'all connected in the spiritual realm, y'all connected in the physical realm. So therefore, y'all are bringing and manifesting and alchemizing energy at the same time, y'all are bringing down gifts and y'all are creating in multiple realms, right? This person has to really understand you and has to really trust you and have your back. Like, this person has to have your good interest, like has to have your best interest at heart. This person has to represent you even when you're not around. This person has to kind of be your twin soul. They have to be a reflection of who you are. Because when they don't see you, they should be able to see you in that spouse. This person should not be, well, let me not use that term. I was going to say pee-popping everywhere. But this person shouldn't be flopping everywhere. This person should be focused on the fact that y'all are building together. This person has access through you and spiritual essence of your next generation in your bloodline. This is a serious commitment. Even if you're thinking, oh, we're just boyfriend and girlfriend, you are connecting spirits together when you interlocked and do what you do when you're doing what you're doing. You have to be able to trust this person with your life. Think about it. You sleep next to an individual. You share even you share an apartment with the person. You are trusting that person with your life. The food that this person makes for you, either man or woman, you're trusting that they're not going to speak negative over it. You're trusting that they're going to speak healing into it. When I was with my maternal side of the family, which I got to go back, but when I was there, they all kept coming, like when they were sick, because you know how men are when they're sick, and they wanted me to make my teas or make my creams or, make my soups and stuff like that in order to bring them back. And I was talking to God about it. I was like, it's not like I'm doing anything. I'm just mixing a few herbs here and there, but they're just normal herbs that you would get from the grocery store. But I do believe that because of the sense that I am putting my love into it, because of the sense that I'm putting my energy into it. I'm as I'm stirring the pot, I'm singing, I'm laughing, I'm joking. My chi is pouring out into what I'm doing, right? So the point that I'm making, because I'm getting to a point, is that's serious. So when we look at Job and we dissect the fact that Job had lost everything at that level, but I don't think that it was a sense of him losing. I think it was a sense of him gaining more. So when you look at your own life and you like, I don't have the same friends I used to have anymore. My dude left me, or my girl left me, or they was cheating on me the whole entire time, which I've been there. People are just straight up opportunists, you know. Then they come back and they just, I don't know. People need to heal out here. But anyways, so, but that's neither near nor there. But the point that I'm making is that that wasn't literally your real inheritance. And I think that's what this realm does. This physical realm does that. It plays in your top. Like, it plays in your face and making you think that because you stored up these riches down here in this earthly realm, that this is really what it's about. But if it didn't really come from God, and you know when a blessing is coming from God, you know when a certain job comes from God, you know when a certain opportunity comes from God. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that these opportunities, jobs didn't come from, you know, they came from the other dude. There's another white butterfly. But I got to look that up and see what that means. But in the same sense, it's a different vernacular when it's coming from God. You know, like, it's a different reward. There's another verb. There's a different reward when it's coming from God. So when I look at that and everything was just taken away from him, I think that was the test to see what he was going to do. So when we look at our situation, right? You and I as a whole, you and I as a team, you and I out here trekking through life and seeing that people really was doing us greasy and dirty, and still having a smile on our face, still getting our beautiful, amazing, glorious, just dope, amazing skin, right? Healthy, beautiful skin, healthy hair, healthy nails, healthy, long, beautiful eyelashes, amazing, gorgeous teeth, body is fitting because you're working out, you're not playing about that. Like, all these things in the process of you going through your wilderness, you're understanding that it's okay. This is just that. It makes you think about what Golden Girls, and they say it's just, Blanche is like, it's magenta. It's this energy that you don't know, but you don't understand what you're feeling. You're in the mix in between. You're in the in between spaces. You're like in the crawl space of a house. You know, now I'm thinking about Bob's Burgers, but it's like you're in between a space before you get to that next level. So it's like, just ride this out like a G. As much as this is painful, as much as it hurts, as much as confusing as it is, and you're like, why is these things happening to me? Why does it like my life is falling apart? It's not so much as your life is falling apart. These things are happening for you. You know, it's a sense of, do you want a lustful connection, or do you want a godly connection? And I know you're thinking, well, I'll be able to still do the things that I'm doing with this one, with that one. Honestly, I'm going to say this, and speaking from as a woman, when you meet somebody and y'all connect, and I'm not saying go out there and have unmarital relations, but when y'all connect and you feel something with that person, it's a different type of lovemaking. It's a different level. So you thinking that you can't have that same type of makeup that you have with this one, but you really can, because that one now is your spouse. That one understands you on a whole nother vibe. That one sees that you're out there doing what you're doing for them as a whole, as a family, as a team. So they're going to not want to, but desire to want to please you on a whole nother level. I think sometimes we get caught up and think, well, I'm not going to be able to have access to this. I'm not going to be able to do this. But you don't know what is available for you if you don't take the next step on this journey. How much time do I have? Okay, I gotta stop. Right? Yeah. All right, I'll come back, but I'm gonna say that. Okay, so the next level might be the next level, and you don't even know that that's the next level for you. All right, I love you. Bye. Oh, and you got this, and I'll see you again. I promise. I'll make another one. I know I've been gone for like forever. All right, bye bye.